2010 Honda Accord. We're going to do some brakes on it, front and rear, rotors and pads, and do an oil change. Join me here shortly and we'll get to it. A little update. 2010 Honda Accord. Right front wheel, working on the rear. Had a little trouble with the screws for the rotor. Had to cut them out, drill them out. But that happens sometimes. They stick. These calipers have the parking brake integrated into the caliper, and it takes a special tool where this piston has to turn and press at the same time. And I've got a tool for that, and I'll show you how that works. Okay. Here's the tool here. These notches, look how to line up with the notches on this. So, one spreads it and tightens it, and the other turns it. This one spreads it. This one turns it clockwise. Replacing the rotors, generally you gotta take the caliper completely off. Otherwise, if you're just doing pads, you can break just part of it loose. Leave the bracket on, generally. Okay. Oh my God, these freaking plastic wrappers. We've got two with the little squealer clips. There's usually two of those and two without. Seriously, they could have put these in a box or something. Jeez. Alright, generally, the clip-sided one goes on the inside, inboard. Just like that. Okay, and then the non-clip on the outside. That's pretty much it. And since our piston's already been compressed and turned in, this should just slide right back on. Then you put in the caliper bolts here that get attached to the bracket. so. Put the tire on, I'll come back and after I've done the other side, which is identical to this side, and then I'll come back and show you the front side. I'm back for the last leg of this job. I'm gonna do this last front brake, and then I'm just gonna do the oil change. So I'll go ahead and give you guys a guide on the front brakes on this. Let's go from this side, maybe. So generally I'll just use a screwdriver and compress this piston while it's all together. Usually pretty simple. Give it a push. Now this one seems like it might have a stuck pin. I'm going to find out what that's about once I put it apart. Sometimes these pins, these slide pins will stick because they get dry. So we may have to pull that one out, clean it. Occasionally that's not the case, they just don't come out. Then you've got to get another caliper. Hopefully that's not the case here, because we're pressed for time a little bit today. But it is what it is. If we have to do it, we gotta do it. Most Honda brakes use 17, 14, 12. The bracket bolts are 17 millimeter, whereas the slide pin bolts for the caliper are 14. Get this bracket off. Deal with that in a moment. We didn't get the piston up pushed all the way in because that pin is stuck. So, just grab a pair of pliers. You can either grab a pair of big channel locks, or they do make a tool that slides in there and you turn it by hand and it pushes it in. I never bothered with those. I bought one time and it was just cheap. I mean, it wasn't cheap, but it just didn't work how I like, you know, because this is quicker. Done deal. Now, where's my little tool go? Now, you would think these little Phillips screws here that hold the rotor on, they don't really hold the rotor on. There's a misconception on that. They put these on the assembly lines because they're running down the tracks in the assembly line with no wheels on them. They don't want rotors falling off all the time, so they just put these little screws in. It keeps them assembled to the next phase where they throw the brakes on and the wheels, that kind of stuff. Now these things, most of the time, you're not just going to stick a screwdriver on and take those because they're corroded in. So I've got this tool here. Impact driver. Give it a twist like you're trying to turn it and just smack it. Boom. Knock loose. Very easy. Boom. The back ones previously I had to drill out 2 of them because they just would not budge. But the front ones, they're done more often, so they've probably been out, I'm sure, a time or 2. And then sometimes you run into the rotor, just won't budge. Just give it a smack. Boom. That's that. Now, grab our new rotor here. Sometimes these things will come with coated well, say a lot of times these rotors, they come with a coating so they don't corrode or rust sitting on the shelf for months or years. So just take a rag and a little bit of cleaner, carburetor cleaner, brake cleaner, doesn't really matter, just kind of solvent, and just wipe that stuff clean. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. It'll just smoke for a while, and it could caramelize your pads, which could be an issue. Just depending on how much coating's on here and what kind of coating they use. Sometimes they use oil. This one had some kind of spray coating that dries, and that's pretty much that. You just clean it off and you're good to go. Line up your screw holes. I'm going to put the screws back in just for simplicity. You don't have to. It helps. It does help a little bit to hold it together while you're putting the caliper back on. That's that. Alright. Put our bracket back on. These come with a little bit of grease. I usually put a little bit on this backing. It just keeps down the, sometimes you can get vibration, high pitch vibration, squeaking, and this just helps keep that down. Anti-rattle clips here. Little spring-loaded clips. Little tiny holes in the pads. Just kind of helps keep pressure on it when this goes back on. So now that we've got this caliper bracket back on, we'll see if we can loosen this thing up without any issues. And luckily it moves. That's a good thing. If you don't repair or clean these slides, see, this one just slides in and out. It's got all its grease in there. This one won't budge. If you don't, then your pads can wear unevenly. His pads that just take off were worn a little uneven. This one's a little thinner, a little lopsided. Looks like at some point I got some kind of debris in there. got a little rubber boot on them here. Keeps the moisture and water out, so we're going to pop that back and put a little cleaner in there. Help free that up a bit. Pin. It's got a lot of rust and garbage on it, so we're just going to clean that up.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, you can really see it there. Slide this boot. Give it a little clean. Sorry about that. The video ended a little sooner. I've got to check the timing on my video settings, but everything went together great. No other issues. Knocked out his oil change and he's back on the road. Until next time, this is OG Mech.